What's up, guys? This is Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be breaking down Jalen Hurts' throwing mechanics. I think he has a pretty interesting motion. We're going to look at some of the improvement that he's done, some of the areas that I think he can improve on to really break into that threshold of being an elite passer. And guys, if you're a quarterback and you got to get better reading coverages, guys, we got to understand what the defense is going to do before they even do it. That's the key. If you're not the most talented guy, you're not the fastest guy, you're not the most athletic guy, beating guys with your mind is the best way to do it. Check out that link in the description, guys, to get access to 70 plus NFL defensive breakdowns. Hope to get you guys signed up soon. Okay, so now here's this throw here. Let's watch it full speed. This was at the Elite 11 a couple years ago where he was a counselor. And he's taking this quick hitch and making this throw. Okay, actually I believe this was last year at the Elite 11. So the main thing I want to talk about is his upper half here. Okay, so his lower half, obviously he's one of the strongest quarterbacks probably ever to come out of the draft, right? Former power lifter. So his legs are going to be a big source of his power, right? What he needs to clean up is this upper half mechanics. And the main thing I want to talk about is this front shoulder today. That's a big emphasis of what I want to put on it. So you see how he's driving off this back leg and looks where he's pushing off. You see his leg, you see the shin angle. He's coming off that inside arch, right? That's all the force that you're going to get. And now he strikes the ground with a bent knee. That's called ground force, right? That's why he spends so much time in the squat rack. That's why quarterbacks should spend so much time in the squat rack, to be able to generate force right here so it can turn into rotational force, right? But here's the thing. He's working on this. I know he is, but you can really see in the combine clip that we're going to check out in a minute how much his front side is improved and how much his hip mechanics have improved. But right now, you see when he drives, he's kind of taking this front shoulder and opening up. Right now, if you guys have watched me, you guys watched my previous breakdowns of quarterback mechanics, we want this front shoulder to stay closed, right? But you see how he kind of is opening it, right? There's not much hip drive. We want to be a hip thrower, not a shoulder thrower, right? So he's kind of swinging this front shoulder through. When I drive my hips and I get to this position, I really want to be in like this, like, I hate saying opposite equal because it's such a thrown around term these days, but I want your shoulders to really stay back as long as possible while your hips are swinging through, right? He doesn't have much hip drive here, right? He's rotating through, but he's rotating through with his shoulders here, not his hips, right? You see when he finishes on this throw here, that ball, he doesn't have that kind of strong coiled position, right? Because his shoulders are bringing him through. So it's a little bit less torque than a lot of people would like it that you're not used to seeing, because he's opening straight up, right? When I get to this 90-degree position, I don't want this front shoulder already rotated through the throw. I want to keep this left hand nice and tight to my frame, and I want to finish square on the target, right? I want to be square. I want to let my hips do the work, and this front shoulder stays closed so I can generate some torque. They call that torque, guys. You want to have ground force and torque, but I don't have torque if I swing this front hand and I swing my front shoulder outside of my frame, okay? We're going to get a better look at that in a second here, okay? So he's going to be throwing this deep ball now. So this is a good example of what I'm talking about. You see how he's swinging that front shoulder forward, right? Now this ball gets back to that opposite L. It's not a problem. I just want his hips to make this throw rather than his shoulders, right? The sequence of the throw, guys, is your legs, then it comes your hips, then your shoulders, then the ball, okay? That's the sequence. The ball's just along for the ride. Your body pays the tab, like you're going out to dinner, and your arm just pays the tip, right? Which is just your follow through. It's just rotating through. Everything's smooth. It's along for the ride. But you see how he's taking his shoulders. His shoulders is what brings him through. It's not these hips. You don't see that natural coil. And everybody likes to talk about, oh, he's not a pure passer, right? But this is something that I know he's working on. But they don't know exactly why that he's not a pure passer. They just sit back in their chairs and don't know how to explain the actual mechanics of it. And this shoulder is what's killing him, because he's swinging open with his front shoulder. And he's got a great quarterback coach working with him for the draft, which is going to really, I honestly think, is going to help him break that threshold and be a better passer. And he's only getting better, right? But this shoulder is what kills him, because that's rotating him through. And you see when he finishes on the ball, this shoulder kind of drops, over-rotates a little bit, right? Now, he's a little bit better finishing square here, but also what I want to take a look at is his head when he leans out of it, right? When you lean out of this throw and your eyes kind of go to the left, this follow-through gets a little bit outside of your frame, right? So I want to make sure that the left side of my body tries to stay square, right? You don't see that torque that most guys have right here just because he swings open with this left hip rather than his hips. It's his upper half that's making this throw rather than his hips and his lower lower half because he's got strong legs and you know he's got a strong core. It's just I need a little bit more hip drive and hip rotation and a little less with this upper half with this shoulder. But again, I know he's working on it, and the combine clip that you're going to see is really going to determine that. But you see how we never want to be that guy who, and a lot of you are probably going to disagree or think this statement might not be true, but a lot of people have been taught you start with the left shoulder, then you replace all the way with the right shoulder, right? But there's no torque because you're swinging this left arm open. I never want to swing that left arm open because I lose that separation, I lose that dissociation, as everybody likes to call it, right? So I just make sure that I'm not an upper half thrower. I'm a lower half and a hip thrower, which shoots this ball through. I keep this hand in front of my face. I keep my eyes level, and that creates some torque. But he's rotating a lot, right? Don't get me wrong. It's just we're rotating with kind of the wrong thing here. I don't want to rotate and I don't want to be in this position right here, right? I don't want to be opening up my shoulders while I'm taking the ball back. I don't want to spread my chest, right? That was something that I was taught when I was younger. You want to spread the chest, right? That's not it. You want to keep this front shoulder closed as long as you can, drive off the back leg, drive your hips through, and create that coil with the ball, right? Now, again, you're going to see in this next clip here that he's been working on that a little bit, and it's a little bit better. Now, while it's a short route, but a guy who's trying to tighten up his mechanics, for a lot of you out there, I know because you're watching this, you're trying to tighten up your mechanics, that the throws like this, the little short, quick throws, swings, slants, check down, those are the ones where you can really tighten up those mechanics, where you can focus on it, right? It's a little bit harder on the deeper throws, and I'm being a little hard on him because the last throw was a bomb, right, 50, 60 yards. But this one right here is a nice, short, compact throw where we could work on those mechanics. So you see how when he drives here, look at this. His front foot's in the ground, and his front shoulder stays nice and tight, right? Let's go back to the first clip here. When he gets that front foot in the ground, look where he's at, right? You see where he's at with this front shoulder. It's already way the hell rotated open, and this ball's kind of trailing his shoulders here, right? We want the ball to trail my hip. I don't want to rotate through with my upper half, right? So now we come back to this combine clip here, and you see that front foot's in the ground while his front shoulder's closed, right? And then he's taking this ball back. He gets it to this L, but look what brings his throw through. His hip drive is what brings that throw through. And you see how much stronger of a position this is when he rotates now. He doesn't swing that left shoulder all the way through. And again, he's staying a little bit more square. It looks a little bit better here. But you see how he's got more of that separation. He's got more of that dissociation between his hips, his legs, and his shoulders. His hips and his legs are going out. His shoulders are going back. That's the exact position that we want to be in right here. And it's only getting better for him. And you see how his hips are driving him through. It's not his upper half this time. It's his hips that are bringing him through. He's in that strong position, and he's able to finish and have a little bit of velocity on it. Again, being hard on him because those first two throws were more difficult throws, right? But the short throws, guys, that's how we tighten everything up with our mechanics. That's how we get tight mechanics-wise. So again, you can see how he's got a little bit better of that dissociation. Front foot's in the ground. His front shoulder stays closed. And again, he doesn't need to make a whole hell of a lot of changes. He's got a clean motion. He's a very strong guy. It's just getting that dissociation, I think, is really going to separate himself from these other quarterbacks in the draft because he's got the athleticism. It's just about keeping that separation, which gets torque on the ball, okay, if that makes sense. Let's watch it again one more time. So coming off here, looks a lot smoother than his throws when it's early in his college career. All right, guys, I really want to thank you for watching, guys. If you want to improve your reading and coverage ability and football IQ, guys, again, check out that link in the description. And, guys, whoever you want to see me break down next, please leave that in the comments. I'll make sure to get back to you. I'll see you guys next time.